kind of watch the time on these because I can't pay attention and talk to the camera. I'm on a kick. I get on kicks. I'm preaching compound movements over isolation movements. I talked about rows not too long ago and standing. I'm actually going to show you something that is seating. This would be an open chain exercise. Closed chain means your feet are on the ground. Technically my feet are going to be on the ground, but they're just going to be sitting there and they're not holding my body up, so it doesn't really count. But I'm going to show you why this matters. Just a very quick rundown on different grips and so forth. First I'm going to show you, this is basically a lat pull down with a wide grip. We would call this a wide grip lat pull down. That's how sophisticated we are. I didn't put any weight on it. I can pretend. You arch your back, you bring your elbows really far back. Okay, everybody does this exercise. Most people, I mean, first time you ever go in a health club, you just do this exercise. It's great for any athlete. It's great for giving you that V taper. It's just a pull down. It's just a front pull down. Now, I'm going to show you something that instead of doing hours and hours and hours of curls, and I got on this last segment, but it bears repeating. Instead of doing curls, which is just a single joint movement. Now, let's do this real quick. There's isolation movements and there's compound movements. Isolation movements work one joint, okay, elbow joint, and a curl would be an isolation movement. A compound movement works over multiple joints. The lat pull down, for instance, is a shoulder joint, and then at the end, as you bend your elbow, becomes elbow joint. So multiple joint exercise. That means compound movement. So when you read these in articles, or when I start throwing this stuff, or somebody else starts throwing out, now you know. That's the difference between compound and single joint exercises. Now, how do we take this same thing? Say you want to work biceps more. Say you say, my back looks fine, I've got the little V taper, God bless you, you got good genetics, good for you. But you need to work biceps. It's real simple. All we're going to do is flip my hands around. Maybe I'll put some weight on it. I'm not going heavy, but I want to at least feel it so I can explain it to you. Good stretch at the top, all the way down. It even helps if you're concentrating on biceps, just squeeze it at the bottom. That way, you get more work out of less weight. You also cause less damage to your joints. And when I say damage, I mean micro tears and stuff and being sore. And as you get older, that becomes an issue. All right, that same movement, I'm still working back. Some people feel that more. They actually like the way that feels better than the first movement for just lat development. But in this case, man, what a difference it makes for bicep just by simply flipping that hand over. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to show you one more twist on an old friend, the lat pull down. 3. Okay, in the first segment we just showed you just a plain wide grip lat pull down and then a reverse grip pull down and tried to explain to you the difference between compound and isolation movements. The other thing that I'm trying to impress upon everyone these days is the need to do stuff bilaterally, and that simply means, isn't that a good word, bilaterally? It means one-handed or one-legged at a time. And the reason we do this is, it straightens out imbalances, and as you get older, you develop imbalances. I spent a lot of time doing the bench and the squat and the deadlift and all those usual exercises, and you tend to get little imbalances in strength. It also starts occurring very young, so this is something good for young and old, and it's really, really important for athletes. I can't say that enough. If you're a competitive athlete, I don't matter if it's tennis or football or whatever you're doing, to do some unilateral training. A lot of times coaches get focused on and think about, oh, I'm just trying to get them big, well, no, you're trying to build athletes. You're not trying to build bodybuilders, you're not even trying to build a powerlifter, you're trying to build a better athlete. So it has to go out onto the field or the court or whatever they're doing. The bowling alley, I don't know what you're doing. You could unilaterally train for bowling, that'd be just great. I'm going to show you the same 2 movements I showed you just a second ago with one hand. Okay, pretty obvious. I put a single stirrup handle on the same machine. That'd be a front pull down. Okay, on this hand I'm going to flip it. On this hand, that's an underhand pull down. Now the odd thing, and this is just my own personal thing I've noticed, when you do this exercise, if you're doing say 120 or 100, I think front pull downs I'll go as heavy as say 180 pounds. I can't do 90s with one hand usually. It's dramatically, it's usually 20 pounds less. So it's like the two don't add up to what you can do with 2 hands. And that's just odd to me, but that's just, you'll notice that. So don't go into the gym thinking, okay, if I can do 180, I'm gonna grab and do 90, because you might embarrass yourself. you might have an arm flailing around bleeding all over the gym if you do that without first trying to kind of test the waters and go up slowly. Before you ever start working out, please get checked out by qualified physicians, and by God, come see Jason's Fitness. Get some training and know what you're doing, and don't just spin your wheels. Training